One of the biggest continents and crammed with possibilities for all of us to explore. The planet's record-breaking rivers, longest mountains, steepest waterfalls, and most massive rainforest. The variety of landscapes supports wildlife in seemingly endless varieties, with many highlights, including the most massive rodents, otters and parrots, unique birds, mammals, even dolphins, and spectacular predators. Make sure to get South America on your bucket list. If planning the ultimate tour of South America, you'll want to include the continent's natural wonders on your list. Starting at the top, South America has some of the most dramatic mountains in the world. The most famous, of course, the Andes, the longest mountain range on the planet, and with some of the highest peaks. Over 7,000 kilometers, tip to tip. It would be long enough to stretch across the USA twice. It dissects 7 different countries. Reaching into the heavens, at its peak the range reaches a dizzying height of nearly 7,000 meters. Straddling the Pacific coast, the range shapes the weather for the entire continent. It's hardly surprising that the thermals kicked up by these bad boys support one of the biggest flying birds. There are few sights in the skies more spectacular than the Andean condors. The surface of their broad 3-meter wings creates such a big area, it can catch enough rising air to keep the birds airborne for hours without them ever needing to flap. No mean feat, considering they weigh about as much as the average 4-year-old. From their lofty vantage point, they look for carrion, because despite their appearance, they are purely scavengers, clearing up mess on the mountains. For such big, intimidating-looking birds, they're actually shy and cautious. Preferring to hide out on high perches. Perhaps the most beautiful, the Piney Mountain Range, or Piney Massif. Located in Chile, it offers unparalleled vistas. Its crowning glory, Cordillera Piney, stands nearly 3,000 meters above sea level. It will literally take your breath away. Thrown up by the force of magma beneath its surface millions of years ago, the range has since been scoured and carved by glaciers. 4 main glaciers remain. Any meltwater from them, or seasonal snow, feeds remote pristine lakes. It's a real wildlife hotspot. Not surprisingly, the continent's first national park, Torres del Paine, The Andes boasts 30,000 plant species. The stunning scarlet embothrium is one not to miss. The rich vegetation supports animal life in great diversity, including more than 100 species of bird, 15 of which are birds of prey. And grazing on the plants, large mammals are abundant, particularly the unique guanaco, the largest animals in the mountains. Wild llamas, the guanacos are perfectly adapted to life in the Andes. Enlarged hearts and extra red blood cells help them cope with the lower oxygen levels at altitude. Like their camel cousins, they have long eyelashes and closable nostrils to keep out dust and dirt. They have the same trait of being experts in going long periods without water. And like camels, they have 2 padded toes to help them grip the rocky terrain. Especially important during the race that is a guanaco's love life. The males compete for harems, groups of females and their young. They must prove their worth. Fighting, biting, and running each other down at 60 kilometers per hour, fast enough to keep up with a horse. Only the toughest will get to take over a herd and father the next generation of babies. But for the successful, nearly a year later, little ones arrive. No babies are cuter than little guanacos, known as chulengos, or sweeter still, guanaquitos. They have a strong instinct, right from the word go, to try and get to their feet. They need to be ready to move with the herd, and more importantly, prepared to make a dash from danger. The grazing herds attract an elusive predator, seldom seen, though Torres del Paine offers better chances than anywhere else. What sounds like a high-pitched laugh coming from the guanaco herd might be the warning to train your eyes. A puma may be nearby. One of the ultimate predator encounters for anyone's bucket list has to be the majestic mountain lion. The top predator in the Andes, the puma is a master of stealth, capable of bringing down prey much bigger than it is with a killer bite to the throat, and will hunt every 10 days or so. Guanaco is its favorite prey here. But fortunately, this female already has a meal on the go, and calls her cubs to feed. Pumas are normally solitary, so few get the chance to see a group. But during the 2 years a mother cares for her young, they share a close bond. Pumas can live at higher altitudes than any other cat, and among hunters, they're one of the best jumpers, taking 10 meters in a single bound. So make sure you don't watch too closely. Life in the Andes is tough. The weather can change by the hour. And winter sees fierce storms and plummeting temperatures. But all that rain and snow that falls on the mountains feeds an incredible network of thousands of rivers. As they carve their way through the land, rivers create spectacular gorges, rapids and waterfalls. Including the biggest of all. Flowing through Brazil, as it reaches the border of Argentina, the Iguazu River spills over the breathtaking Iguazu Falls in one of the continent's most dramatic spectacles. Across the upper and lower falls, the water drops more than 70 staggering meters. When the US First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt first saw Iguazu, she exclaimed, "Poor Niagara," and it's easy to see why. The curtain of water is nearly 3,000 meters across, kicking up great clouds of spray. Dusky swifts dance through rainbows created by the mist, using it to shower their plumage. Remarkably, these birds have managed to harness the immense power of the water to protect their families. They gather mud from the mist-drenched banks and assemble little clay cups on the cliff faces directly behind the falls. Here they can lay their eggs and feed and raise their young, protected by the never-ending heavy curtain of water. It's only the speed at which they fly that permits their entrance. There is no doubt that Iguazu is dramatic, but in terms of water features, the continent has another that overshadows them all. The Andes drain into the Pantanal, the biggest tropical wetland in the world. It sprawls across 3 countries. The size of Washington state, 17 million hectares of wet wonderland. For the intrepid traveler, it's a vast feast for the eyes. Lush green as far as the eye can see. Where real-life cowboys still roam. The gaucho move with the seasons, driving their cattle, pantaneros, to the freshest grazing in a timeless drama. But it's the incredible wildlife of the region that really steals the show. It has the highest concentration of wildlife on the continent. 35,000 species of plants, 650 birds, and 200 mammals. It's a wildlife lover's mecca. What would you tick off your bucket list? Crocodiles? There are plenty of them. The Pantanal supports 10 million caiman, the highest concentration of crocodiles on the planet. Or would it be the world's biggest parrots? Spectacular hyacinth macaws. The meter-long marvels have giant beaks that can smash through even the toughest nuts. They are essential to the health of the landscape because of the vital role they play in breaking and distributing seeds to fuel future growth. Playful and social, they are entertaining and colorful creatures, an increasingly rare sight not to miss. As is the weirdest, most unique and most wonderful creature of South America, the giant anteater. There are 4 kinds of anteater, all South American exclusives. They have been doing their own thing for 50 million years. Tiny ants and termites don't seem like much of a meal, but with its 50-centimeter tongue, it can lap up 30,000 insects a day. Testimony to its diet, it's so easy for the anteater to fill up that it can afford to spend 15 hours a day asleep. Sharing the open grassland, bizarre birds that can't fly. South America's own answer to the ostrich. Rheas are the biggest birds in Americas. Like their ostrich cousins, they are fast, topping 60 kilometers per hour, which combined with their height and big eyes, mean that they are pretty good at keeping out of harm's way. During the breeding season, a dominant male will gather a group of females. Successful contenders herd the females together into harems. All of the girls lay their eggs into one giant nest, sometimes as many as 80. But it is the male that does all of the parenting from here on in. He sits on the nest and guards it. And when the chicks hatch, he teaches them where to find food and water, and defends them even against close encounters with other rheas. The little ones are keen to stretch their legs and will soon be ready to race around the Pantanal. The lush, productive grasslands and the swamps of the Pantanal drain into the Amazon River basin. 7 million square kilometers of watershed, the biggest on Earth. It pours over 200,000 cubic meters of water into the Atlantic every second. More than 1,000 rivers become tributaries, flowing into the legendary Amazon. The heart of the continent, this river should be a must-see for everyone. It carries 1/5 of the world's fresh water. Its waters, stained by the tannins of leaves from the surrounding vegetation, flow like a well-stewed cup of tea. It's a jaw-dropping spectacle, but the life in the Amazon is just as mind-blowing as the river itself. So make sure you take the plunge. More than 3,000 kinds of fish populate her waters, as exciting a place for a diver as any reef. The athletic arowana can sling itself from the water to snatch insects. Though it might be a meter long, it can clear more than 2 meters above the surface. And the arapaima, roughly the size of 2 bathtubs, is one of the biggest freshwater fish and one of the few that has to breathe air. It can only stay underwater for 20 minutes and gulps at the surface, giving fish fans a chance to catch a glimpse. It's an adaptation that helps it stalk stagnant shallows. The plentiful fish attract fish eaters. Another South American special, the biggest otters on Earth. Giant otters are sometimes known as river wolves because they hunt in packs. Most otters are loners, but not these monsters. Families stay together, defending their territory from rivals. By working together, they can herd fish. The fearless giants will even work together to tackle caiman. Up to 20 of these man-sized predators hunting together is the sighting of any wildlife watcher's dreams. Grazing along the riverbanks are other giants. Capybaras are the biggest rodents on the planet. Looking like rats on steroids, capybaras tower over their cousins. In the way they live, capybaras are more like hippos than hamsters. With their eyes, ears, and nostrils on the tops of their heads, so like a periscope, they can hide in the water, but still keep an eye on what's going on. Perfectly at home on land or in the water, they get full access to the lush plant life. The wildlife of the Amazon River never ceases to amaze. It even has its own dolphin. The buto, or Amazon River dolphin, is one of the top predators of the waterways. Its fleshy pink skin helps it disappear in the murky river. More flexible than any other dolphin, the buto steers with its big flippers and uses its bendy body to squeeze between the trunks of submerged trees. The trees along the banks mark the fringe of South America's greatest treasure, the Amazon rainforest. A precious, vital resource for the country and the world. The Amazon represents more than half of the world's total rainforest. More than 500 million hectares, big enough to cover 2/3 of the United States. A visit has to be the ultimate jungle experience. It has diversity to blow your mind. There are more than 40,000 kinds of plant, some of which are giant. Many of the trees raise 60 meters above the ground, while the record holder breaks through the canopy to reach a maximum height of nearly 90 meters. The plants support life in abundance, including humans. More than 300 indigenous human communities depend on the forest. Around 50 are still isolated, even uncontacted by the outside world. Many others still live traditional lives. Imagine the experience of going bush, feeling the raw energy of the jungle. If you are a bug fan, the Amazon is a good destination. "95% of animal life here is insect. More than 2.5 million species have been found so far, some demonstrating incredible camouflage. And others with remarkable societies. Ants live in complex communities. But few are more specialized than the leafcutter ants. With Herculean strength, they harvest and transport pieces of vegetation that can be 50 times their own body weight. Tirelessly, they form a conveyor belt, shipping the leaves back to their nest. But the fragments are not for food. It's hard to believe, but these ants are miniature farmers. They take the leaves home to feed to fungi, which in time the ants will harvest. The base of the food chain, the insects feed nearly 400 species of reptiles. The warm, wet, humid rainforest is also a haven for over 1,000 kinds of frogs. The Amazon has the highest diversity of amphibians on the planet. These colorful forest dwellers are well worth seeking out. But don't get too close. There are around 100 kinds of poison dart frogs. They secrete toxins onto their skin that can paralyze and even kill potential predators. They are only a few centimeters long, but not to be underestimated. They sport some of the most beautiful colors in the forest. But it's really the birds that are the gems in the jungle. With well over 1,000 species, 20% of all the world's birds live here, one of the highest diversities on Earth. Every conceivable color and display make this a birdwatcher's dream destination. Parrots steal the show for many. There are 30 species moving around the jungle, colorful and noisy flocks. Rainbows on the move. Despite their bright colors, they can be hard to spot among the leaves. Fortunately, sometimes they seem willing to show off. The parrots make their living eating fruits, leaves and nuts, but in some parts of the Amazon, this diet can be low on minerals. The rainforest lives up to its name, and the high rainfall washes minerals from the soil, so few find their way into plants. The parrots make up for this by finding freshly eroding mud banks and eat the mud. They can extract salt directly from the other, helping to keep them healthy. It makes for a dramatic kaleidoscope of color. It's the obvious place to start if you are looking for a bird fix. But the Amazon has so much more to offer. One of the most sought-after bird sightings is that of the harpy eagle. It's easy to see why. This bird of prey is gigantic. Its open wings are the size of a door. Even their nests in the treetops are huge. Big enough for a couple of people to curl up and nap. Its talons are like a large human hand, supported by wrist-thick legs. Its claws are bigger than a bear's. They can snap shut on animal prey, pretty much anything they can find, and use 50 kilos of pressure to drive those claws home. They are the true rulers of the canopy, snatching their animal neighbors, especially monkeys and sloths. Fortunately, there are monkeys in abundance, and who doesn't love monkeys? Hanging out with these swingers is on the wish list of many an animal lover. And with more than 100 species, it's the place to come. Unlike monkeys found anywhere else in the world, the monkeys of South America have prehensile tails, using them like a fifth leg to help them move through the trees. The true kings of the swingers. And the most playful of the Amazon's 430 mammals. In terms of sheer numbers, rodents and bats are the most plentiful. Perhaps not bucket list material for many, but some of the Amazon's other mammals are truly remarkable. Famously, the sloth. The sloth is one of the world's most popular animals, though it's only found here in America's rainforests. They are so special that no trip to South America would be complete without seeing one. Though don't expect riveting company. Sloths sleep for up to 20 hours a day. Some of South America's animals are weird, to say the least, but others are nothing less than magnificent. The Amazon is the best place to hunt for a glimpse of this spectacular feline. The biggest predator on the continent. The jaguar. The biggest cat to roam the Americas. Globally, only lions and tigers are bigger. The jaguar truly is an awe-inspiring sight. A good-sized individual can weigh twice as much as a Great Dane. No other animal can challenge it, and any can appear in its menu. More muscular than any other cat, it has the most powerful bite for its size and adaptation to tackle the most dangerous prey. The strength it needs to bite into the thick skull of a caiman. The name jaguar derives from a local word that means he who kills with one leap. So if jaguars are on your list, be careful. The wildlife hiding in the jungles of South America can be hard to find, but undoubtedly rewarding. 1 in 10 of all species in the world live here in the Amazon. And there are many more to find. So far, since the millennium, more than 2,000 new species have been found. You never know. You might be the person to find the next. Something beyond even bucket list dreams. But in this dense, wondrous vegetation, it's a real possibility. The diversity of life in South America and the evolution driving it is truly enough to blow your mind. But if you want to see evolution itself in action, then there can be no bucket list destination more important than the place where the great Darwin himself discovered how evolution works. A dream destination like no other, the Galapagos. Sitting 1,000 kilometers from its country of ownership, Ecuador, it's a tiny cluster of 19 islands, some of the most biologically important on Earth. Where else can you meet penguins? In the tropics. Dive with iguanas. Or take a slow, very slow stroll with the island's famous giant tortoises. The penguins are special. South America has 7 species, but these are the only tropical ones, and the only penguins in the world to be found north of the equator. Their presence here is thanks to the Humboldt Current, which brings in nutrient-rich water from the Southern Ocean. The nutrients provide food for the fish that penguins hunt. The birds still have cold roots. They only breed if the sea temperature is below 25 degrees, when food will be plentiful. People visit the islands in droves just to see these gorgeous birds. And while diving with penguins, they might come across another uniquely Galapagos experience. Coming face to face with the world's only marine lizard. It's thought that millions of years ago, land iguanas reached the islands, perhaps carried on rafts of vegetation drifting from the mainland, and once here carved out their own special niche, evolving into a new species. They look fearsome, but they are vegetarians who go to great lengths to get their greens. The remarkable lizards can dive to 20 meters beneath the surface, using their long, once tree-climbing claws to anchor themselves while they scrape algae from the rocks. They occasionally stay submerged for as long as half an hour. The seaweed is a resource untapped by other land dwellers, but it's not without its challenges. The cold water drains their bodies, so they must bask on the rocks to recharge. The iguanas are totally unique and very special, but there are other even more famous reptiles. The giant tortoises of the Galapagos. The name Galapagos comes from the Spanish word for saddle because of the shape of these tortoises' shells. Like the iguanas, these giants arrived on rafts of vegetation some 2 to 3 million years ago. What made the tortoises particularly special is that their shell shapes vary in different islands. On big islands, where there is lots to eat, the tortoises have quite normal dome-shaped shells. But on the more barren islands, they developed the saddle-shaped shells so that they can reach higher to nibble at branches when the lower food runs out. Darwin noticed this, and it gave him an idea. He started to think that perhaps animals adapt to their environments. The process he published under the name The Theory of Evolution. Not only a great bucket list animal, but a significant moment in history to tick off the list too. So Galapagos is a wildlife lover's mecca, and who wouldn't be captivated by its striking volcanic rocks? And the surrounding oceans, bathed by 3 major ocean currents, resulting in some of the most spectacular marine life on Earth. Divers come here to fulfill their wish lists. The waters around Galapagos offer a truly incredible sight. To see hammerhead sharks, but not just a few. Hundreds of thousands gather in mass shoals. No one is entirely sure why they gather, perhaps to feed or to deter even larger predators from attack. It's also when they come together to breed. Nowhere else on Earth offers a spectacle quite like this. An unforgettable, once-in-a-lifetime experience. South America's landscapes show the most incredible diversity. A feast for the mind. But moreover, the continent's wild places offer a life support system on which the entire globe depends. Particularly the Amazon rainforest, which filters water and fuels the water cycle, with plants pumping moisture into the air, regulating weather patterns, and ensuring rain for the future. And though it only covers 2% of the Earth's surface, the Amazon generates a fifth of the oxygen that we need to breathe. And vitally, at the moment, the rainforest holds 140 billion tons of carbon and is perhaps our most important ally in our fight against climate change. But like all natural wonders, the wilderness of South America is under threat. In less than one generation, South America has lost an area of forest bigger than Texas. Deforestation is destroying the equivalent of 20 football fields of jungle per minute. The timber is sold off and the land cleared for raising cattle. It's vital for the health of the land and the people living in those countries, but also for the rest of us all over the world. All of us must work together to save it. We need it. And we need bucket list destinations, places to enrich our dreams, to inspire and excite us, to keep us searching for knowledge and experiences. The mind-blowing landscapes of the South American continent wow us. Leave us in awe. And make the world a wonderful place to be.